Hello and welcome to another video from the only source of information that you need to not only survive the current apocalypse, but actually enjoy it. And I guess I'm going to try to explain a subject that I brought up before that I really didn't. And I did do a little bit of reading from the Bible just to confirm what I'm going to tell you, or at least as close to confirming what I'm going to tell you as I can get, because I really don't believe I can confirm what I'm going to tell you. But what I'm going to tell you is something I've already said before, which is there are no more angels in the vicinity of the earth. The only spirit creatures left here currently are demons. And feel a little funny about that, because I get these really, really strong feelings about things, and sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong. But there was a time when I felt completely confident. I would write up a script knowing that every word was 100% accurate. I would read the script in front of a camera and put it up there. And, since doing that, no one's come along and said, or proven that I'm wrong, because they can't. I've got all the scriptural backing I need for every scripted video I've ever produced. But I used to get these dreams, and the weird thing is most of my dreams I have no memory. But what I would do is I would pray, Father, I'm on this account in Genesis that I don't understand. It's where Abraham did this or whatever. And I get in the bed and I go to sleep, and the next morning I wake up and I go, wow. And I just start writing and doing research on Google. I'm like, wow, God came through. I got the information's in my head. And I'll go check and recheck, and sure enough, I'm right. Not a problem. I don't have any problem putting stuff like that out there. But for about 3.5 years now, I've been having dreams that are just getting me in trouble. I kind of was suspicious of them, so I never made a video about any of the dreams I've had in the last 3.5 years. But I based a lot of my life decisions on that, which all turned out to be wrong and wasted 3.5 years of my life. So now when I wake up and I have this new information in my head, I don't know whether or not to trust it, and then I can't figure out any way to prove it, so I keep it to myself. But I do have something that I want to tell you about before this is over with that I think is real. I know it's real. Even though I believe most of my dreams are coming from the demons, I recently started telling people, I think my dreams are coming from demons. And 2 nights ago, I laid down to go to sleep. I had been crying all day. You can go look at the video I made about masturbation. If you go look at it, my face is all red. That's from crying the day before. That isn't even from that day. My whole face was still red from all the crying I did the day before. But when I got in my bed and I stopped crying and I fell asleep, and as soon as I did, I was in a room where demons were attacking me. It was like people, but they were flying through the air and they were ripping my flesh, and it was an actual nightmare. I've had a lot of bad dreams, but they don't really have any effect. When I wake up, I just go on about my business. It's not really scaring me. But when I woke up from this dream, I was scared, because I fell asleep. I had my hands like this, interlocked on my chest. And the first thing I noticed is I couldn't pull my hands apart, like they had grown together or something. But then I couldn't sit up. And I'd open my eyes and look around. I was in my room. It wasn't like I was sleeping. I wasn't sleeping. I was awake. Well, the thing is, when I woke up, I was looking around, but I had to move my eyes. I couldn't even turn my head. And this went on for a while, like a minute maybe, or maybe 2 minutes. But it was really, really scary. And when I woke up, that carotid artery, I guess, was pounding in my throat, and I could hear my heart pounding in my chest. And I thought, man, I don't want to go through that again. But I got up and I walked downstairs. I checked on my wife. She was sleeping, but she was screaming because she does that at night. It's like, she does that all night long. And in fact, the next day when she woke up, I asked her, "Did you have a good night?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Do you have any funny dreams?" And she said, "No." So, because I always felt like my wife was demon possessed. I'm sure she is, because her behavior is really, really weird. But anyway, I got back into bed and I laid there for a little while, and I eventually closed my eyes. And the minute I closed my eyes, I was stuck again. I mean, I couldn't move, and these things are jumping on me and beating me. And when I opened my eyes, I could still see the whole interior of my bedroom, but I could feel these things holding me down, or I could feel that I couldn't move anything. I kept trying, just struggling. I couldn't move anything. And I looked down with my eye, and I could feel arms all the way down me, but I could just see one arm there. And I saw mine, but there was a gray arm there holding me. And it looked like had sunburn on it. The skin was peeling like when you have sunburn, except that the skin was gray. Now, I've had these type of situations where you wake up and you can't move, and I thought, this has got to be demons. But I looked it up, tried to research it a little bit, and they call it sleep paralysis. And it's where you wake up and you can't move, or you're trying to wake up and you can't wake up. But none of them said anything about seeing physical beings on their body holding them down. I kind of thought that, okay, that's a possibility before when it happened to me, but I'm not really able to accept that now. I really think that was some kind of demonic activity. So now, even though I've always felt like I was somehow protected, like I could just do anything, say anything, it didn't matter, because if God didn't want me to say it, he wouldn't let me say it, because if I'm actually acting as God's final prophet, which I believe, you don't have to believe it, but if you know that I believe it, that'll help you to understand why I act odd compared to other people. Might be I'm a prophet, might be I'm just crazy enough to believe I'm a prophet, but that fact is what makes me who I am. So knowing that I'm susceptible, I don't want to tell anybody anything. That video I made, not the masturbation one, but the gods and cavemen video. I really believe that. I don't believe it like a religion. I know it. I know that that's the truth, that all of God, when you find caveman bones, that's something God created on the fifth day. If you somehow identify Adam and Eve bones, well, that would have been on day 6. Because mammals were created on day 5. That's us. Adam and Eve were created on day 6. And because Adam and Eve interbred with the caveman, that's us too. So you may have some of the talents that Adam and Eve had, like my ability to know things nobody else knows. You may have that too. But, you're going to have all those qualities of all the cavemen, and we don't know what those are. I got a friend that read a book called Eating for Your Blood Type. And I've always kind of suspected that maybe the blood types came from different, I don't know if I suspected it, but I read some article somewhere, watched a YouTube video that put that in my head, and I thought, well, that sounds reasonable, like all of the Cro-Magnons had a certain type of blood, and all the Neanderthals had a certain type, all the Adam and Eves had a certain type of blood. And so, since everybody's intermingled, some people have different blood than others, and that's the only thing about them that's really all that different. But in this book it said that People who are A-type have a hard time eating meat, and that's me. When I eat too much meat, it messes my stomach up. My friend who read the book has type Rh negative, which is a weird type, and she says people who have Rh negative have a hard time eating vegetables. They pretty much can't get away with not eating meat. True or not, I don't know, but it seems true to me. It's reasonable. But the whole point is that the Bible clearly says that right before the last days happen, that there will be a war in which Satan is cast down to the earth. I mean, this is in Revelation 12. It'll take you like 2 minutes to read the whole chapter. I think it starts off like Revelation 12:1 is the part where it says, a sign was seen in heaven, a woman arrayed with the sun with 12 stars around her head and the moon at her feet. Those are all celestial signs that we're supposed to be looking for to confirm that the last days have begun. Because then it says the last days will begin, be 1,260 days, which is 12 360-day years. Those are the months. You got 12 30-day months to add up to 360-day year, and 42 months total. Man, I know that's probably confusing. Don't worry about it. Just know that all of the symbolism in Revelation is like the timing of the last days. So we may not be able to tell when the last days are going to start, but once they start, all the signs will be there. So God's woman, spoken of in the Bible over and over again, is Venus. Now, sometimes she's called Estar, sometimes Ishtar, Easter, Ashtoreth, Aisha Shah. All of those words are for these mother goddesses. And the mother goddess is always associated with the moon. Now, in the book of Esther, it talks about a new queen replacing an old queen, which makes me think that at some time in the past, some celestial object was being used as the moon by Earth, and for whatever reason, God moved it and moved another celestial object in, which is our current moon. Or maybe that we had two moons at one time, one was just cast away. But all of these things will become apparent once the last days begin. But the first sign it gives is that Satan and his angels go to war with Michael and his angels, and Michael's angels cast Satan's angels down. This also would be some kind of celestial phenomenon, but I really think that we'll experience this in reality, our close to us world. The scriptures about Satan being cast down, they kind of sound like he gets cast down and the very next day is when the last days begin. But in looking over it, I really can't tell. It says he's going to be cast down and then the last days will begin, but I'm really thinking he was cast down to the earth 3.5 years ago, because that's when all this strange stuff started happening. People started believing that they were having a pandemic. People suddenly forgot what gender they are. I'm not saying people became homosexuals. I mean, there's always been people who were homosexual. The thing is now, this doesn't seem like, I know that we have the internet and we can find out things that maybe our grandparents couldn't find out. But growing up, I don't remember anybody telling me, any male person telling me they were a woman. It's not like that didn't happen, but today it's becoming like a phenomenon. So, the spirit of, and not only that, human beings, somebody wrote me today and said, this isn't an abomination. And I'm like, no, it is, but it's, what is it? Define an abomination. God doesn't like it. Okay, well, God said over and over again, it doesn't like Adam and Eve to eat meat. You know, he said before he doesn't like war, but we go to war. Doesn't like stealing, doesn't like even just work. You know, the ancient word for work is Ra. In Egyptian, Ra is the sun god, but also in Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, doesn't just mean work, it means evil. The word Ra, it's interchangeable. It can mean work or evil. And so the fact that we have to go to work is an abomination. In fact, until we're all running through paradise naked and loving one another, we're all an abomination. Oh well, I just want you to know, I can't tell you what to believe because I don't know where this is coming from. But I do know that I used to get very, very good information from my dreams. And now it's been about 3.5 years. I don't think anything is good is coming out of my dreams. I feel just sad and confused all the time. Oh well, hopefully before this is all over with, the angels will be back. But I do know that in the meantime it says that during the last days, your old men will have dreams, and your young men will see visions, and your women will prophesy. So no matter where the angels and the demons are now, we can expect things are going to continue to be bad for the world in general, maybe even just for us as individuals. But at some point, apparently, during the last days, God will help us all, and we'll begin to develop into the people that we're going to be for all eternity. Love y'all. Don't want to survive. Don't listen to me.